Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's DLloyd. So, I believe it is time. It is finally time for the New York Jets to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And I believe it's probably going to happen in the offseason, but I do think this is the time. And it's very unfortunate because I was one of those people that was very excited when Aaron Rodgers decided to go play for the New York Jets. I thought because they had Garrett Wilson, they had Sauce Gardner, they had Breece Hall, they had a ton of just talent on the team. You add a former MVP, you add a former Super Bowl champion to that team and Aaron Rodgers. Remember, this is just a year removed from him being the MVP. You add him to this team, and this team was going to do wonders. I thought this team was immediately going to be a Super Bowl contender. If they didn't win, you would assume they would at least be right there. Very, very close to winning. But now that we've seen everything transpire, that has not happened at all. Now, last season is a season that could have been, right? We know with the injury, we just don't know what would have happened. And I do think that injury could have probably changed the course of this entire experiment. Because if he doesn't get injured, I do believe that the Jets are a better team. I do believe that the Jets play well. Aaron Rodgers plays well. And maybe confidence, everything else goes great and nothing really unfolds the way that it does now. But I do believe because how the season started, didn't start off great. You start blaming people. You start firing coaches. You start arguing with, members of ESPN with Aaron Rodgers. And I think so much happens that the confidence as a unit is pretty much shot. And we all know you could have talent, but if everybody isn't on one accord, if everybody isn't pulling together, wins don't just come because you have talents. There's a lot of things outside of that. Now, Aaron Rodgers, you still watch him throw the football. He's not the same Aaron Rodgers that he was, 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. But Aaron Rodgers can still throw the football pretty well. It's not like he has no talent whatsoever. I think if he goes to another team, he could probably have a solid opportunity to perform well. I think the MVP days are long behind him. I don't think he'll be able to do that again. But it seems like reports are saying Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers aren't really seeing eye to eye. Garrett Wilson could ask out if they decide to keep Aaron Rodgers next year. Aaron Rodgers wanted to bring in his guys. With Allen Lazard, he got him. He was able to bring in Devontae Adams. He is there as well. And even with all that, it's still not enough. Now, yesterday's loss, 40-14 loss, a game that was very, very out of hand. Much out of hand. I believe it was 33-0 when Aaron Rodgers came out the game. And after the game, he alluded to essentially saying, at some point, I know you guys got to go to Tyrod, and it kind of insinuated that he pulled himself out the game. Now, I'm not sure if that was 100% the case. Maybe the coach was kind of leaning in that direction. He said, hey, I hear you. It's fine. I did see some reports saying that he quit on the team. I don't necessarily believe that he quits on the team per se, but it's still not a good look. It's still not a good look, especially with how the season has taken place and how that offense looked to that point, because they didn't score a single point when Aaron Rodgers came out the game. 2 interceptions on the day. We know that's not really Aaron Rodgers type of football, but even when he's been playing well, this team has not looked great. They don't have that swagger that they need to get into the playoffs. And I think this is a organizational teardown that needs to take place this offseason. I think GMs need to go, coaches need to go, players need to go. A lot needs to happen for the Jets to be able to successfully rebuild, because they have a heck of a core of young guys to still build around. You keep a Breece Hall, even though he hasn't performed as well as we thought he would this season. You keep a Breece Hall. I like Braylon Allen. I think Braylon Allen is a young piece. You keep a Garrett Wilson. Of course, you keep a Sauce Gardner. Like, you still have core players that you could build around, but trying to build around a 40-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, I don't think that's the move, especially at this point, because he's only going to get worse, you would assume, right? Maybe it's an anomaly year and things go crazy and I'm wrong, right? But historically speaking, I'm not going to get much better at age 41 than I was at 40, right? So this is the time, I believe, that you kind of blow it up. You start over, you rebuild, you bring in a new aura in that organization, and you go from there. I think with what is there right now, just on the mental side of things, because they have talent still on the mental side of things, this is not it right now. This is not the move. And when you look at them play football, it looks like they don't really believe as much as you would hope a team as talented as the Jets would believe. I mean, this team with all that talent I just said, they are 4-12. 4-12. And it's not like everybody was just gone all year. They're 4-12 with their guys playing. So I know they lost coaches. I know all that stuff there. I know New York is a tough place to play, especially when things aren't going right. And this is one of those situations, man. I think you need a fresh start, a fresh place of scenery for Aaron Rodgers, a fresh head coach, a fresh voice, a fresh GM, and we'll see if the Jets can kind of turn things around. But that is just my opinion on this situation. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you think the Jets need to just completely tear this thing down and rebuild? Do you think maybe Aaron Rodgers has some magic left and you just try to ride with him until the wheels fall off? Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below. As usual, though, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's DLloyd. I'm see y'all next time. Peace.